Recap in minutes. In today's video, we will be enjoying an action film, entitled Sniper Ultimate Kill. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. The movie begins with a man named Diego Paulo having his bath with a young lady and being assassinated. And then there's Worthington, a Marine officer who appears to be hiding from someone chasing after him. Worthington is looking at the old photo of him and his comrades. Worthington gazed into the mirror while holding a gun and seemed to be intoxicated. Worthington put the gun into his own mouth and shot himself. One of Worthington's friends, Sergeant Brandon Beckett, attends his burial after the incident. Meanwhile, a recruiter is trying to convince Sergeant Beckett to join the Task Force Southern Command to be deployed in Bogotá, Colombia. The Task Force Southern Command is a multi-service operation that is tasked with counter-drug and anti-terrorist operations in the southern part of America. There is no way for Beckett to say no to the offer, even if he does not want to join. Sergeant Beckett is being sent to the National Police Headquarters in Bogotá, Colombia. There, he is introduced to Captain Hector Garza, the local team leader. Captain Hector Garza runs the Colombian drug trafficking task force. The captain hands over the target information to Sergeant Beckett. They are targeting Jesus Morales, a Colombian cartel chief who specializes in recruiting street kids. No one in law enforcement has ever seen Jesus Morales in the last 10 years. For 3 months, Jesus Morales has killed his rivals in the drug competition. He is also responsible for the assassination of Diego Paulo, Morales' greatest rival. Sergeant Beckett is now in discussions with Colombian officials on how to effectively capture Morales. Along with this mission, Drug Enforcement Agency, where Agent Kate Estrada, is also assigned for this mission. Estrada declares a change of plan. Sergeant Beckett tries to break the ice by saying he has to undertake recon work like drone analysis and topographical inspections before they continue with Jesus Morales the following day. Agent Estrada clearly states that they must either imprison Jesus Morales or kill him. On the other hand, Sergeant Beckett goes for a stroll with Agent Estrada. Out of the blue, she asks Sergeant Beckett direct questions about whether he intends to join the mission or is just forced to do so. Sergeant Beckett states that he does not wish to accept the position of hunting Morales. However, he is unable to do so. Then, Agent Estrada suggests Sergeant Beckett get some rest before tomorrow's hectic schedule. The following day, Sergeant Beckett, together with his backup Santiago, are sent to the forest where they believe Jesus Morales is hiding. From the southernmost ridge, Sergeant Beckett and Santiago can see the target's farmhouse. Also, other members of the squad are also in the forest but in a different position to monitor Morales' movement. With Sergeant Beckett's sniper position confirming all is clear, the squad splits in two and approaches the farmhouse cautiously. The squad smash their way into the farmhouse in an effort to locate the target. Outside, Agent Estrada acts as a lookout. However, a trap bomb is set off when an officer kicks through the door, and the house is destroyed. Many of them sustain serious injuries from the explosion. From Sergeant Beckett's sniper's vantage point, he watches Captain Garza take a bullet to his leg. Even as Agent Estrada grabs Captain Garza and tries to cover him, a man holding a sniper, known as El Diablo, fires another round into Garza's face. Instantly, Captain Garza died. Santiago alerts Sergeant Beckett of El Diablo's location. He aims at the target's location, and once he is ready, he fires toward the target. The target is fast enough to avoid the bullet from Sergeant Beckett and escapes instantly. Back in the headquarters, the squad is having a meeting and talking about what has happened. They are suspected of being entrapped. Sergeant Beckett asks for another 48 hours for them to catch Jesus Morales. Agent Estrada and Sergeant Beckett are brought to the Drug Enforcement Agency's safe house in Las Cruces. They assume that no one is aware of their presence. On the other hand, El Diablo is busy having an affair with a lady when the phone rings. He answers the phone, and it is Jesus Morales talking on the other line. Morales tells El Diablo the exact location where Agent Estrada and Sergeant Beckett are staying at the moment. Angry after Sergeant Beckett and Agent Estrada talked about how impossible the shot was, Agent Estrada said that she did not really care about the man. Instead, she is only concerned about Jesus Morales' arrest. Sergeant Beckett responds by adding that more men will die if Agent Estrada continues to think in such a narrow way. She is not enjoying the conversation, so she leaves. Kate and her friend Father Carlos, a priest, meet in a nearby pub. She orders a bottle of liquor. Suddenly, a random guy walked up to her and touched her back. Agent Estrada kicks the guy, causing him to hit his head on the table, before going back to Father Carlos and enjoying the bottles of liquor she ordered. Suddenly, Father Carlos tells her that El Diablo is really dangerous and he is the only one who can lead Agent Estrada to Jesus Morales' location. Meanwhile, Santiago reports to Sergeant Beckett that something is up. He immediately gets alerted and positions his sniper. Santiago gives him the location where the sniper laser is from. Sergeant Beckett locked the target as well as El Diablo. Both of them pulled the trigger and managed to avoid getting hit. The next morning, Sergeant Beckett and the squad went upstairs where the incident happened. Sergeant Beckett sees El Diablo's bullet stuck in the wall. They have figured out that the bullet used is a standard-issue laser-guided smart bullet. It means that the bullet can readjust its position 30 times a second while hitting a moving target up to a mile away. On the other hand, Jesus Morales and his family, made up of kidnapped children from the streets, are playing billiards in a mansion. Jesus Morales loses a game of billiards to a boy, but the little man's victory over the boss inspires furious mockery from Morales. As a means of intimidating the little boy, Morales flashed a gun. Yet Morales did not fire, claiming instead that he was just joking. Morales then gives the final kill order on Sergeant Beckett to his men. Suddenly, the phone rings at Jesus Morales' house, and he picks it up. He hears El Diablo's voice. When Morales is about to go upstairs, he finds El Diablo seated on a chair with a gun pointed at him. Although El Diablo has asked for his money, Jesus Morales assured him that it had not yet been placed since he had not yet killed Sergeant Beckett. Then Morales urged El Diablo to leave his home since Morales no longer needed him. Agent Estrada and Sergeant Beckett, on the other hand, are on their way to the new safe house. Estrada's phone is ringing as they are driving. It is Father Carlos on the other line. According to Carlos, El Diablo has a new girlfriend named Maria Ramos. Carlos gives Agent Estrada specific instructions on how to find her. She and Sergeant Beckett continue their conversation after the call has ended, but their car is struck by a trailer truck. After Agent Estrada and Sergeant Beckett's car flipped over twice, the thugs driving the trailer truck jumped out and started shooting at their vehicle. Sergeant Beckett fights back against Morales' men by firing at them. Finally, Agent Estrada escapes and proceeds to the location of Morales' girlfriend. Afterward, Agent Estrada makes it to Maria Ramos's residence. Sadly, she is attacked by Morales' men. Fortunately, Sergeant Beckett is able to track down the assailants and fire them as they try to escape from Agent Estrada's gunshots. The rest of Morales' men are killed, but 2 are able to escape. As a result of Agent Estrada and Sergeant Beckett's efforts, Maria Ramos is now in their custody. Agent Estrada removes the necklace pendant belonging to Maria Ramos and uncovers a picture of El Diablo. Sergeant Beckett notifies the headquarters about the encounter. In the meantime, both felt unsafe in their safe house, so they went to Father Carlos for temporary shelter. The rumor has widely spread out in Colombia about Jesus Morales' men being murdered one by one, and the responsibility for this is the one and only Sergeant Beckett. Meanwhile, Jesus Morales sneaks inside El Diablo's house one night while he is sleeping with Maria Ramos. When El Diablo looks over, he sees Morales pointing a gun at him, which takes him by surprise. Morales tells El Diablo to put down the gun and listen. He demands help from El Diablo and offers him 500,000 cash in a briefcase and tells him that there will be another 500,000 cash more when he kills Sergeant Beckett and Agent Estrada. El Diablo sees one of Jesus Morales' men and offers 50 cash to get information about Sergeant Beckett. The man then tells El Diablo that a priest is helping Sergeant Beckett and Agent Estrada behind. Meanwhile, Agent Estrada sees Sergeant Beckett relay Father Carlos's text message requesting a 10 p.m. meeting at Cortez Square, outside the church. Agent Estrada tried several times to get in touch with Father Carlos but was now unreachable. Something doesn't seem right, so she and Sergeant Beckett go to Father Carlos' location immediately. They reach the chapel and believe that El Diablo might be lurking nearby. Agent Estrada and Sergeant Beckett go to look for a place where they could set up the sniper, and Sergeant Beckett starts scoping until they see a truck arriving and hanging Father Carlos on a tree as a trap. El Diablo is also ready to pull the trigger once Agent Estrada and Sergeant Beckett show up. When Agent Estrada finds Father Carlos hanging from a tree, she becomes alarmed and attempts to rescue him. Sergeant Beckett, however, intervened and urged her not to go out, saying that he was aware of El Diablo's plans. Sergeant Beckett cuts the rope around Father Carlos's neck with a gunshot. When Sergeant Beckett fires and misses, he tries again. The rope is successfully cut, but El Diablo has discovered their location and opened fire. The bullets from El Diablo don't even scare Agent Estrada and Sergeant Beckett. Now that he is no longer hanging from the tree, Father Carlos is free to die at the hands of El Diablo's bullet. People in the suburb are saddened by Father Carlos's death and attend his funeral the next day. Aside from Agent Estrada and Sergeant Beckett, there is a few more law enforcement personnel present at the funeral. However, Jesus Morales' men noticed them. They drew Sergeant Beckett's eye as one of Jesus Morales' guys ran to give information. Sergeant Beckett gives chase and eventually apprehends the guy. This individual is made to feel responsible for the death of their priest. To put things right, Sergeant Beckett approached the man and asked for his assistance in finding Jesus Morales. This man said he couldn't help Sergeant Beckett and Agent Estrada because he was afraid he won't make it through the night. At any cost, Beckett assured the guy they would guard him. The authorities are able to catch Jesus Morales in his apartment with the help of one of Morales' allies. Sergeant Beckett knew that there was a bigger problem than capturing Jesus Morales. This time, Sergeant Beckett and his squad returned to Miami, from where he set out on this assignment. Jesus Morales, who was also taken captive, is present. All of them are aware that El Diablo will follow Jesus Morales. Meanwhile, El Diablo is at the airport in Miami, and he was able to get through the immigration as he has his name set as Mr. Garcia. While El Diablo readies his gun for assault, Miller, the bullet specialist, shows Sergeant Beckett a smart bullet that destroys the cartridge at a predetermined distance. The squad, led by Sergeant Beckett, is also prepared to shoot from a strategic vantage point. The van where Jesus Morales is riding together with the cops starts to move, and they set up a fake Jesus Morales to ride in a black car as a decoy. They cover both the original and the fake Jesus Morales head with a cloth to confuse the enemy. The men working for Jesus Morales then set out in a black sedan to chase and rescue their leader. However, El Diablo opened fire on the vehicle. Miller, who had been firing from a distance, killed all of Jesus Morales' men once they got out of the car and opened fire. Sergeant Beckett has been patiently waiting for the whereabouts of El Diablo to be revealed. El Diablo fires at the vehicle again, causing it to explode. Beckett, using the exploding bullet Miller gave him, tracks down El Diablo and fires at him from a safe distance. El Diablo's head exploded and splintered into pieces after being shot by a bullet from Sergeant Beckett's sniper. John, Jesus Morales' former worker, is taken aback to discover that the blue van is empty. Agent Estrada explains to John that the vehicle is operated via remote control. Then Miller reveals to him that the blue vehicle was really a trick to lure El Diablo and the real criminal, John, who had been helping Jesus Morales in his criminal activities, out of the headquarters. The movie ends with the real John Morales going in the back of a police vehicle to Miami. As well as John and El Diablo, Jesus Morales has also been apprehended. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this and help the channel grow.